So, welcome back, and we're finally here. The final day of this walk, where I'm kicking this football all the way from Wiltshire down to Christchurch Harbour. Now, this is episode 6, so episode 5 saw us literally get to this gate here. That was the section that took us from Corfmullen area up here to West Parley. So we're at a place called The Pear now, and the final section is going to see us walk from West Parley up to Christchurch Harbour in Bournemouth. Well, I've finished this walk that's taken me about 6 days, when I initially planned it would take me 3. It's been way harder than I thought. More mud, more hills, more bridges, but it's also been way more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. And it'll be quite sad to see the end of this journey. However, you may have realised on the last video, I suggested that my ball was in pretty good nick. I went to get my ball out last night, and it's not. It's completely flat. Bit of a disaster. As you can see, I tried patching it up with these patches, only to realise it's the actual inner ball which has popped. Quite sad about it, to be honest with you. But it's the last day, I've got 10 miles left, my ball's flat, it's quite cold, but the sun is shining, and the pub is cooling. It's early, it's about 8:30 I think. 8:30? I reckon we'll be done by about lunchtime. So, the first kick of my flat ball, see how it goes. Doesn't feel quite the same, but what can you do? It's funny, thinking back to the first day of me doing this walk. It might not come across on the videos, I've probably tried to be quite positive, but there was a few times I was thinking, this is just stupid, I don't want to do this. It's going to be so long, repetitive, and it's going to be cold and wet. That was the main issue, I think, the cold and wet. And I'm so glad that I stuck with it. I mean, because before I uploaded that video, I thought, well, I could just stop now, no one's actually going to know I ever started this. I could get away with it. But I stuck to it, and I thought at some point it's going to start being more rewarding, less confusing. I'm going to find a bit of rhythm, and I've absolutely found the rhythm over the last, well, ever since that day basically. And I absolutely have loved every second of doing it. And I'm going to be really quite upset when it comes to the day where all week I've got nothing to look forward to, because I really look forward to this. I'm working all week, I'm like, well, at least on Saturday I get to go out and kick my ball around in the sunshine. I get to go and explore and walk and do stuff. So I'll need to find a new adventure, I think. We're going to be walking through the Stourvalley Reserve, Nature Reserve, up to a place called Throop, which is a really nice place. I've been driving through it all the time, and Holdenhurst, and then basically onto Christchurch. And it's really not a huge amount of walking left to do. Well, I mean, it's still got 9 miles left, but not a huge amount of distance really to cover. I expect the path zigzags quite a lot. Oh, and there she is, first look of the day, the old Stourvalley girl. Well, second look of the day, but there we have it. And that dog was going to eat my ball, no questions. It's funny, as the walk's gone on, as the days have continued and the miles have ticked down, the intensity of the walking has really dropped off from the first and second day. Like I said so many times, partly probably due to the mud, but I don't think that's just the case. I think the first 2 days were just a lot more difficult. 3 days, including Hambledon Hill. There was no sort of trailway or road. It was just cutting across fields, you'd no idea where you're going. So one of my main points of this path is, if you don't have a map, there's no way you'd find your way along the path. The signposts are just so irregular and often wrong. First few days, real confusion as to where I was going. And just lots of really difficult sections, regardless of the ball. Just walking it would have been tough. And now the last 2 or 3 days, I feel, you might have noticed there's less and less content, the videos are shorter. Because there's just not a huge amount to document. And it's beautiful, but there's only so many beautiful shots of river I can put in a 20-minute long video. So we're just arriving in Throop, which is a small rural town just outside Bournemouth. It's quite a strange place because you're in Bournemouth, which is obviously urban, and then you drive just a little bit outwards and you stumble across this really large rural place. Quite strange, really. I only found out about it a couple of years ago. I've lived around Bournemouth all my life. It's like you go through a magic door from built up sort of council flat areas into a really quite affluent scenic part of Dorset. But we went geocaching down this road once, about 2 years ago, and I remember there's a geocache around there somewhere. See if I can find it without looking at the app. Oh, found it. I wasn't even set up. How quickly was that? So, yeah, just at the back of Holdenhurst Village now. Moving up to the big dual carriageway, or the Spur Road, I think it's called. Basically runs from the back of Bournemouth up to sort of Ferndown Ringwood Way. It's big, very busy dual carriageway. And if you remember back to episode 1, had to cross the dual carriageway there. I'm hoping it's not a similar thing because this dual carriageway is a lot bigger. So I'm hoping that there's either a subway to walk underneath or an overpass. I think there is an overpass actually. Oh. Right, so I'm just leaving Iford Golf Club. I haven't actually filmed much for the last 2-3 miles. Absolutely desperate for the toilet, more so than I think I've ever been in my life. But I survived, and I made it to the golf club just in time, just in the nick. Just gonna try and find our way back onto the actual trail now. I think we're just going to cut across a few holes here and try and make our way back and on. We got about 5 miles left until we get to Crosschurch Harbour and the end of the River Stour walk as we know it. Just found this little beauty in the bush. That'll last me approximately 1 shot on the first hole next time I play golf, but they all add up. And there is the first sign for Hengistbury Head. Little cow. Somewhere I wouldn't expect a cow to be. Oh, take it up. Oh, fuck's sake. I'm picking the ball up here because I don't want to die, mate. Don't want to die. I hate cows and horns. Get the shit out of me. I feel like I missed the turning off here. Well, when I say I feel, that's what my map has told me. We're so in tune now. I think I'm going down here. I think. Back onto the main road? Dunno. Look at this. Weird structure. Interesting. Very interesting. I also find it quite interesting that you transition from the urban to rural. People start saying hello and being really friendly, and then you transition rural to urban and everyone's just looking at the floor. And it's literally within the space of about 100 metres going off a country path onto a footpath, and then instantly people are just like, nah, fuck off, I don't want to talk to you. Cutting through a place called Tuckton Tea Gardens, which is a really nice sort of rivery walk country park. It runs along the river, and loads of boats and stuff are moored up. So, looking over that way, Motherford Quay, I believe, or Christchurch Quay, one of the two. And I think we're just getting our first look at Hengistbury Head. I think we're basically going to work our way around the coast and down to the spit, which is where this walk finishes. It's already popped now, don't make a difference. Shit. Now, there's two ways to walk the loop of Hengistbury Head. It's basically a peninsula. One up over the head, which is quite a steep uphill, and one around the bottom, and I'm hoping the path can take me around the bottom, because the last thing I want to do is go on top of that hill, especially when it's so windy. So, it's just miscalculated. I've realised I've got to get to the far end of Hengistbury Head, which is 1.5 miles away from the car park. And yeah, I've also got to go up this big hill. My good friend Luke is going to be here in 20 minutes. So I've got to walk 1.5 miles up this hill, get to the end point, 1.5 miles back, which is 3 miles, in 20 minutes. I generally think this is the first time on the whole walk that I've had to go down any steps that I can remember. Well, this is the end of Hengistbury Head. I'm not sure where the map says is the official end location, but we'll find that and we'll go for a wee, because I'm bursting. I mean, it really is just the formalities at this point. I'm here. The map says I have to get to the end of this little spit. It's I suppose the river mouth, the harbour mouth, where it does finally leave into the sea. Can't really be asked to walk on the sand or walk into the wind, but it's got to be done, so I'm going to try and smash it out as quick as possible. This strip of beach huts down at Mudford are just extortionately expensive. One of these little shed type things on the beach will cost you as much as a 4-bedroom house at some places in the country. And we were talking hundreds of thousands of pounds, which is quite hard to wrap your head around really, but I suppose if you like the beach and you got an absolute shit ton of money, then why not? So, the final kick. Oh, and that's it. We finally made it. That was just amazing. I enjoyed it so much more than I thought. I thought it'd just be a challenge. I thought we'd be grinding the miles out. I've genuinely loved every single second. I'm quite sad that it's done. However, it opens the door to the next opportunity, which I hope will be just as exciting, just as fulfilling, and challenges me in an even more stupid way. If you want to see more of that, consider sticking around and giving me a follow to see where I get to next. But for now, it's on to the pub.